Welcome. Have you ever yearned for a friend, a true friend? Somebody will stand with you in in pain, in brokenness, in the deepest sorrow you can get. Have you ever yearned that God will give you somebody like that? Somebody who is very rare to find, but yet he or she is still available. As you'll see in our story, the story of Naomi. The story of Naomi is a story that started well, ended not so well, but still there's redemption in the story. And the story of Naomi starts when things are not working in Bethlehem, and they decides to go and look for relief because there was famine. They decided to go. Let me do it very fast there. So they decided to relocate and go to Moab because there was famine in their country, in Bethlehem. And so Naomi, his husband, and their two sons, they leave for this place for the Moab. There they go by Banrak, the husband dies, and he still have his two sons. The two sons marry there in Moab, and by Banrak, the two sons dies, and you can see now the change in Naomi's life. You can see the bitterness, you can see the brokenness, you can see the pain, you can see the devastation, the desperation, lack of hope, seriously hit rock bottom. We can see that. And these are the situations that sometimes we find ourselves in. This is real life. It's not just in the one, that story of Naomi. It's a life that somebody is going through right now, as you can hear me. If you are not the one, there is somebody whom you know maybe is going through brokenness, who is going through pain, who is bitter with life because nothing seems to work, and they think, I think maybe God has left me. God has, he's punishing me for something I did, and that is real life. And so today I want us to look at when all that was said and done, when everything went, it's like a storm. There's a storm, and there's so much that is happening. The storm is so big, and at one time or the other, the storm will still come down. But what happens, or what you see, is the aftermath, the destruction that was done by the storm. Nothing, everything was turned upside down. Nothing was left at its place. And that is what happened in the life of Naomi. When her two sons died and her husband, the life was Naomi was turned upside down, and nothing could make her feel like or think like, she can live again. I think maybe to herself, she was thinking maybe, what was the need? What is the need of me even being alive? And sometimes when life pushes, when life shakes, when life breaks, there are times when people find themselves in such situation. They are wondering, why am I still here? How am I supposed to take on? How am I supposed to continue living from here after all this has happened? But you have to know God is always God, and God, it doesn't matter what the sorrow you are going through, it doesn't matter the pains you are going through. He says that I'll never leave you, I'll never forsake you. Even in those darkest valleys, you have to know God is with you, because even in the darkest moments, even Naomi at that time, she could not handle herself. It's the power of God that is still holding her, that's still giving her hope, that's still telling her, now that things have gone the way they have gone here in Moab, you can go back to where? You can go back to Bethlehem, where you came from, because there is still hope. And so we see Naomi now, she's getting bitter, but the good news is that God is always a redeemer, and He'll always redeem you. He'll always come out for you. He will never leave you in darkness. Yes, things may come, storms may come, but God will never leave you in storm. He has to save you, and there is a way of God saving you. He might do it himself. He might send somebody, but trust me, there is always a way God will use to restore. And so in this story, we see there's this now, after the two sons married, one married a wife called Oprah and the other one was called Ruth. And when all things were said and done, Naomi tells them, you have now to go back to your parents' home because I have decided to go back to Bethlehem because there's no life for me here. I came here with my family and now I have nothing. I'm empty. I'm devastated. I have no, I don't want, maybe she felt like she didn't deserve to live. And we see the girls are like, oh, you'll not go, you'll not go. But one girl decides to go, but this one girl in particular who decided, I am not going to go anywhere. This girl, her name is Ruth, and the one says that Naomi is I think she's arguing with them to and fro. You have to go to your mother, me, I want to go back. But there's this particular girl, her name is Ruth, and she said, look, Naomi, now it's Naomi, now we say, telling the girls, she's telling now, she's talking to Ruth in particular. Look, that is Ruth 1, verse 15. Look, said Naomi, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go with her. And now this is Ruth. This is Naomi now telling Ruth. And listen to what Ruth replies. But Ruth replied, do not urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Where you die, I'll die, and there I'll be buried. It's hard to find a friend like this. It's hard to find a companion like this. Not unless God says, guys, let's be real. Ruth knows Naomi has absolutely nothing. She doesn't even know where she's going. Yes, maybe they have a home, but you can imagine being away from a home 10 years, maybe plus. What do you expect? Shackles, everything has broken down. Nobody lives there. And that is where Naomi is going back. And you see this girl, Ruth, is telling her, where you go, I'll go. I don't care. And Naomi has nothing to give Ruth. Naomi has no money. Naomi has no child. But now Ruth has made up her mind. I'll go with you. Yes, I'll start with you. Come rain, come sunshine. I'll not leave you, Naomi. I'll go with you. And today, it's my prayer that God may send us loads in our lives when we need them. Because there are sometimes all what you need is a load. You don't need money. You need somebody who can stand with you in solace. You need somebody who can stand with you in the pain. You need somebody who understands. You need somebody who will be there for you. If it's crying, you cry together. Whatever it is that you are going through. And God will always be so just to send such people in our lives when we really need them. And our prayer is that when God sends them, let us be able to recognize them so that we don't send them away. And so we see now this girl, Ruth, has clinged to Naomi. And she has told her, I'm not going anywhere. Where you are going, I'll go. Yes, where you are going, where you don't know, that is where you will go. Yes. Yeah. Whoever used to be your people will be my people. I don't care whether I know anyone there or not. It doesn't matter. Where you sleep, that is where I will sleep. If you sleep standing, I'll also sleep standing. Where you stay, that is where I will stay. Whatever you do, that is what I'll do. So don't even be bothered by me. I'm God. I'm here by choice. Nobody forced me. I chose to follow you. I chose to help you. I chose to keep you companion. I chose to help. I chose to be there for you, for bad, for better for us. I'll start with you. And I like Ruth. She never turned back. She meant business. And when they went there, they still go and arrived in Bethlehem, and Naomi is crying. People are calling her, and she's telling, no, no, don't call me Naomi. The peasant woman is no longer, it doesn't exist. It's there. Naomi, you see here, this is pain, nothing, nothing. And at even that particular time, when she feels like she's not worth it, when she feels like life has stripped her everything she knew that made her be who she was, Lord stood with her. God gave her another strength, because we can say Ruth is like a strength for Naomi when she doesn't have her own strength. There are some times when you need somebody to stand with you, to hold with you, to walk with you when your own strength cannot handle you. God will set you somebody. Even as God comes himself, he will set you somebody, maybe because there are things that need to be done, and he will send you that truth that will stand without questioning, that will stand without expecting anything in return, but coming and standing and making sure whatever is that you need, you will not lack. Ruth knew Naomi in her status. She was old, she has been devastated, she has gone through life pains, and maybe she wouldn't even want to see anybody. So there was a possibility Naomi would go and hide in her house, and even refused to go to eat, refused to go to look for food. She has no food. She has no farm. Even if the farm is there, nobody has have been planting, and so there's nothing for her to go there. And so when Ruth came along with Naomi, the one says that now Ruth or go to look for somewhere, so for in the fields to go and look for something. They can find where they're in those places where they are harvesting. They will leave some seeds behind for those who don't have anything to eat, they can correct. And so we see Ruth going there in those farms, and going to look for something they could eat for her and Naomi. And so we see now Ruth becoming a physical help for Naomi, because Naomi even needed help. And so we sometimes in life we need somebody like that. In your situation, you cannot even eat. Maybe you are sick, you cannot even feed yourself. You need somebody who will stand with you. Maybe it's a family, maybe it's your husband, spouse, maybe it's your child, maybe it's somebody in the neighbor who needs somebody who can truly stand with them and walk with them through the hardships or through the brokenness they are going through. And so we can see so far now Ruth is really good, doing a good job. They have come back. Now Ruth knows nobody, but she's going out in the fields to look for something to eat, because by the end of the day, they need food. They need to get strong, so that even as they see what God plans, what the plan God, the plan God has for their lives. And so when now Ruth started going to those farms, that's when he find this guy, Boaz, who ended up marrying her, and you see now Ruth being there, Naomi couldn't have been married again. I think she's quite old. She doesn't have children. Maybe she can't have more children. But this Ruth girl who says, I'll never leave you, who says, it's like more of the Holy Spirit, I'll never leave you. I'll go with you wherever you go, Naomi. Your people will be my people. And so it shall be even for Ruth. Wherever Ruth goes, now you have to go. She has to go with Naomi. She cannot now leave Naomi back. She cannot be married by Boaz and leave Naomi. She will carry Naomi with her, because now Naomi has become her responsibility. And I want to tell you, is there anybody in your life God has made you to be the responsibility? Because it can be vice versa. It can be you. Yes, you are listening to me. You are somebody's Ruth. God has given you a responsibility over somebody, and you have to take care of them. You have to provide whatever is needed. Maybe it's medical. They need medicine. You buy them without expecting anything in return. Maybe they need food. You stand with them. You buy them food. Maybe their children out of school. You pay their school fees, expecting nothing in return. And when God calls you as a Ruth, obey. Go do it with all the might you have. Because if he called you because he knew you can do it. Ruth, maybe she might not have had so many, but that courage, of leaving her home and going to with a stranger to another strange land and saying, I will not leave you. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. That's a bold statement, and it can only come from somebody who has really been given an assignment by God. And today you might not be needing Ruth. You might be the Ruth you are looking for. And so if you are the Ruth, do the Ruth role without expecting anything in return. And God, who is our rewarder, is the one who will reward you. And so we see now Naomi, after Ruth knew this guy Boaz, eventually they get married and he gets a child. Now a child, that's a new life. That's hope. For Naomi, he never thought he'll see a grandchild. And now out of, yes, another man, but this girl is still was her son's wife. They get a child. The life of Naomi changes. There is future, there is brightness, there is hope. Nothing is lost. And in that family lineage, that is where Jesus was to be born. And so, what may seem like it's a dead end, what may seem like emptiness, what might may seem like it's end. You think, oh, I'm too old. You think, that and if somebody tells you can do something, like you laugh it off. It is never too old, because God has a way of redeeming things. God's way is not our way, and God will bring it back in the way you never expected. That's Ruth you are looking for. Maybe you are the Ruth, or the Ruth is coming. And bless her. Open your doors too, because if really Naomi decided to not allow Ruth come with her, we don't know what could have happened, but she could have closed her doors. She could have opened, she could have closed. The new possibility starts. God was really bringing in her life, but God helped her to understand or to know that this girl is clinging on me too much. Let me allow her to go with me. And so today, I want to talk about the unfailing love of God, from wherever you are, feeling helpless and selfless, but trusting God that He has the final say in your word, in your life. When everything seems over, when everything seems like there's no hope, the one still sees there's a hope of that tree that has been cut. It can come back to life. And today I want to tell you, it doesn't matter what has been cut off in your life. It doesn't matter how far it has gone. It doesn't matter even if it is worse, like more than Naomi's case. I want to tell you, there's a God who redeems, and God will send you help. He will not leave you alone. He will not leave you devastated. He will not leave you in that madness. He will not leave you in that confusion. He will send somebody to walk with you during those tough seasons. He will send somebody to bring, the things you never expected. He will send maybe a very ordinary person. Ruth was not you can say this was not a prophetess in Moab. Maybe she was not even known. People didn't maybe know her. She was not a priest. Maybe she was just a normal girl living a normal life, but she did a noble act. That act of following, Naomi, that act of agreeing, I'll go with you, of taking Naomi as a responsibility and letting God use her, And so sometimes we have a tendency of disqualifying ourselves, because you think, because I am not this, I cannot do this. Because Ruth would have said, there's another girl from the village, let me go. But she didn't look at herself. She looked at Naomi. She didn't judge herself. She looked at the Naomi, and she looked the pain Naomi had gone through, and she knew well that Naomi needed somebody to walk with her, and that person, because and had done that somewhere else. There is a verse that says, you are called for such a time as this. Why is Ruth still with Naomi as time as this, when everything has broken down? Because God wanted to use Ruth to bring redemption to Naomi, and that is why sometimes you find yourself in in a place where you don't know what exactly will happen, or you are praying for something, you are praying for someone, and sometimes God will use you are praying as an answer to that person's problem. Yes, find somebody as a hey, things are really bad for them, and like, oh God, please help. Yeah, you are the help they need. And when such things happens, when God calls you to be a help to somebody, go do it with your with all the mighty. God will use you. God will answer prayers, other people's prayers through you. God will bring relief in people's life, in community, in the church, wherever you go, through you. But you have to do one thing. You have to leave everything behind for you in order to answer the call, like what Ruth did. She has to leave everything behind. She left her family. She left her country. She left everything and went to this foreign land with this Naomi. And that is where even her Ruth herself, her life was redeemed. She became a new woman. She got married. She got a child, Obed. And in the mix, the life of Naomi was also redeemed. Naomi had a hope. Naomi started living again. Naomi started smiling again. Naomi started having a reason to live. She had to live also for her daughter Ruth. She had to live also for her grandson. And so today, God is sending help your way. God is sending you a Ruth. God is sending you as a Ruth. And wherever God is sending you, go and do as He has instructed you. We've seen good news at the end of this story. It started good. In the middle, there is pain, but at the end, there's victory. And today, your life is not different. Maybe you are going through pain. You think you've reached the end, but that is not the end. God is still on the throne. God is doing something new. God is weaving your story. It is just started. And the way it was meant to be, that is how it will be. God will send the right people at the right place and the right places. The people who are meant to work with you until you find your deliverance. So thanks so much for sticking with me, and God bless you. Remember to subscribe. Thank you.